Well, investors and tech buffs alike are awaiting news from Facebook today, possibly a site redesign or maybe even something bigger than that, a relationship with Skype. With me to talk about these possibilities is Bob Rice. He's the managing partner at Tangent Capital and also an angel investor in New York area tech companies. I always love that term, angel investor.
Yes, it makes it sound good, doesn't it?
It sounds so altruistic. Anyway, okay, so I think, okay, redesign, whatever. Facebook, Skype is more interesting.
Way more interesting, and they have clearly been working together. That's certain. It's pretty likely that you're going to hear something about Skype today, and it could be a pretty big deal.
Why is that?
Well, because Skype has got something that a lot of the players in Silicon Valley really, really want, which is the so-called social graph, a worldwide network of connected users to each other, that is. This is something Google really wants, Cisco really wants, Apple really wants, and so Facebook and Skype hookup here is a little bit scary to those guys.
Scary, but you also say it's beneficial to Skype. You don't think that they actually want to do an IPO, right?
Right. Skype,
they want to be bought.
Well, they want to be bought by a strategic player. Their strategic value is far greater than their economic value. After all, Skype is making some money, but of course it's basically a free service, eh?
Right.
So it's not clear what an IPO is really going to bring. It's not even clear that an IPO is going to bring much more than the buyout group paid for them. On the other hand, the strategic value to somebody like Google is enormous.
Okay, so Google loses out in this.
Yes.
eBay
had
seller's remorse?
Well, they had buyer's remorse at first, and now they have seller's remorse.
What happened there then for them? It just wasn't a right fit, right?
It wasn't a right fit, but they're looking pretty silly. They're looking like they really didn't know what to do with something that has enormous strategic value to every other player in Silicon Valley. They bought it, kind of shrugged their shoulders, sold it off,
right.
And now they're looking a little bit red-faced.
Okay, so for Facebook, though, integrating Skype, though, is that going to be difficult for them or pretty easy?
Well, it depends on how they do it. And I suspect what you're going to see here is a loose affiliation, not a deep integration at first, because Skype is still...
So not an outright acquisition?
No, I don't think Skype wants to sell to Facebook, because remember, Facebook's private too, and you don't really want Zuckerberg in charge of your financial wherewithal going forward, I don't think. I saw the movie, you did too.
Right.
And so, a private buying a private is very difficult at these kind of valuations. I think that they want to get just connected enough to Facebook to make the other major players say, okay, it's time. The IPO thing is a threat, but this thing with Facebook is a real threat. We got to move now.
Okay, and I want to actually dive deeper to Google then, because Google struggled in the social networking arena. And, it's got everything, it did so many things right, but why is it struggling so much against Facebook and still trying to play catch-up?
They just cannot get this social networking thing right. They are dabbling here, dabbling there, buying a social games company. They're little tiny things.
Yes.
None of these things are going to move the needle for Google. The Skype acquisition would move the needle in a humongous way, and it's very surprising to me that they haven't made a more serious run at the company.
And it's surprising to you there may not be a bidding war for Skype or anything like that?
I think that that's exactly what they're positioning it for, is a bidding war with these major players. They just brought in their new CEO is from Cisco.
Right.
They've got a great connection to Cisco there. Google clearly is interested. Apple is even interested because Apple also wants to get into the social networking game and they're doing it now through their new service, Ping.
Okay, and just quickly, Apple. Does Apple lose out in this at all or no?
A little bit, because they do want to get social networking themselves, and this is going to give Facebook even a bigger lead.
Okay, all right. So all the losers except for Facebook.
Exactly.
Okay. Bob, thank you so much for joining us.